Hello and welcome to Entirely English. And this is our fourth video on superstitions that we hold in Britain. We've done cats, we've done numbers, we've done outside, and now we're doing superstitions indoors, inside your home. There are a lot of superstitions within the home, so I'm going to have to do two videos to keep them manageable lengths. So in this first one, we are going to look at some just random ones in the home. Again, if you know of any that maybe I've missed or that you think are very rare, unknown, pop them in the comments. Also, if there's any in this which are completely different in your country, then I'd like to know that as well. Pop them in the comments and any reasons for them if you can think of them. All right, so let's start with one we probably all know, and it's about breaking mirrors. We have the superstition that if you break a mirror, you will have 7 years bad luck. In Victorian Britain, and we keep coming back to Victorian Britain, don't we? In Victorian Britain, when somebody died in the home, the mirror was covered over. The idea being that it stopped the soul being trapped within the mirror. They thought when the soul left the body, it would see the mirror and go into that rather than going towards the light, and it would be trapped. So there's this idea that mirrors hold trapped souls, and if you break it, you'll release those souls. And in fact, if we go even further back, the Romans believed that the mirror wasn't just a reflection, but was a manifestation of your soul. So if you broke the mirror, you were breaking part of you and causing misfortune. A bit like Voldemort separated his soul into 7, 8 parts. Every time you do that, you damage yourself a little more. It is the same with the soul in the mirror. You break the mirror, you damage yourself, or you release the souls that were trapped in there before, and they will haunt you, apparently for 7 years. Why the 7 years? Well, the Romans believed that your soul, your entirety actually, renewed itself every 7 years. Sorry, don't fly. So if you break the mirror, you have this curse on you, but after 7 years, your soul will have been refreshed. So you needed to regain your soul and reverse your misfortune, and that only happened after 7 years. I hate flights. I think it's buzzed off. Okay. Next one is putting umbrellas up indoors. This will cause misfortune to rain down on your family. There are some people who say this is because the umbrellas had a spring, and if you press the button, the umbrella sprang open, it could damage precious items in the home. But this superstition goes back further than the automatic umbrella. And the idea is that when you opened an umbrella in the home, you were upsetting the spirits of the home because this was an outside device and should not be operated indoors. So then the spirits of the house would become agitated and cause mischief. I don't know, there's a possibility this one comes from Asia. If you are in one of the Asian countries, please let me know, because I'm sure we got umbrellas from you. They're so prevalent in Japan and Korea, etc. So, that fly again. If this superstition began in your country, do let me know. I'd be really interested. A lot of people speculate about where superstitions began, and they're not always accurate. The next is spilling salt. If you spill salt in your home, at the dinner table, in the cupboard when you're rooting around with the other condiments, it can bring bad luck. Why? Now, some people put this back in time to the Romans, and they say The centurions were paid with salt. It was a very valuable commodity. So when you spilled it, you wasted it. Maybe we want to kill that fly. Some people even say it's down to Judas at the Last Supper, but there's no mention in the Bible of him sprinkling salt on his dinner, so I don't know where that idea came from. The origins of this actually go back to the Sumerians in 3500 BC, for whom salt was a precious substance, often used in sacrifices and offerings to the gods. So spilling it was an insult to the gods. But there's another part to this, which is if you spill salt, the way to get rid of the bad luck is to take a pinch of the salt and throw it over your shoulder. And it should be the left shoulder, because that's where the devil lurks. It's where the demon who wants to affect your life lurks. So the salt, which is a holy item, you throw it over your shoulder and it blinds the devil and drives them away and returns your luck. Bit curious, that one. Now, you might have this in your culture. I think it's quite common around Europe, and it's to knock on wood. You say something like Trump is going to be impeached, and then you often say, knock on wood. I'm going to get a promotion next month, knock on wood. The idea possibly goes back to the pagan times when there were tree spirits and sprites. And even when a tree was cut down and made into furniture, the tree spirit stayed with the wood. When you knocked on wood, you woke the spirit, and it paid attention and did all that it could to bring about what you had said, to make it a fact. So when we say knock on wood, we mean let this become real. Let it be true. Now, the next one I think is rather like the walking under a ladder one we had before. If you missed that one, check the video. And the next one is crossing on stairs will bring bad luck. What this means is you're going upstairs, somebody's coming downstairs, and you pass each other on the staircase. And they say it's bad luck. I think it's actually like the ladder one, it's just good advice. And it's also good manners. If somebody's coming up the stairs before you start down, step aside and let them come up. And then you go down. Likewise, if you're going to go upstairs and somebody's already coming downstairs, step aside. It stops that uncomfortable proximity thing where you get too close to somebody else. You know, British Reserve, we don't like to be too close to other people. And it also avoids accidents like the walking under a ladder thing. You know, your feet get tangled, you bump, somebody goes crashing down the stairs. And even just 50 years ago, we didn't have building regulations in this country that said stairs had to have banisters. So the stairs might be a wall on one side and then just open on the other side. So the person walking next to the wall bumps the person coming down the other side. Splat. So again, it's just good advice rather than, I think, bad luck. All right, the last one we're going to do for today, I like this one. It's hair of the dog. A superstition, not about good luck and bad luck so much as about medicine. So you go out for a night with your friends, you're drinking whiskey, say, all night. And when you wake up in the morning, your head's going, there's a rave going on inside. And your mate will say, hair of the dog? And it means, do you want a glass of whiskey? Like what has made you feel bad will make you feel better. Right, the whole phrase is the hair of the dog that bits you. There is a belief that physicians, way back even into the Middle Ages, would use fibers meshed together. We would normally use gauze these days. The hair, horse hair, dog hair maybe, and put it into a wound, over a wound. So you cut your hand, you put this matting of hair on it, and it acted as a styptic, which means it stopped the blood from flowing. It caused it to clot quicker. So the idea being somebody was bitten, your leg is bleeding, you take the hair from that dog and put it on your leg. And in that respect, it would be more like revenge. Maybe you kill the dog, rip off its hair and stick it on your leg to heal the wound. I actually think this is more about homeopathy. Because in homeopathy, they say a little bit of what has poisoned you will make you better. If you, for example, if you have an allergy to, I don't know, books, take a tiny little morsel of book and put it in alcohol and then dilute it down. And when you drink it or inject it or whatever, you will become immune to that problem. So I think it's something more like that. When you consumed hair from the dog that bit you, and it's probably related to rabies, you would not get the rabies because there's something in the hair. Now, that's just my idea. You tell me what you think. But hair of the dog that bit you, nowadays it's used to mean drink what you were drinking last night. All night on the tiles, as we say, boozing away, Guinness. Next morning, hair of the dog that bit you. It's nice. Again, do you have such a thing in your country? Let me know. I hope you found these interesting. And do let me know about your superstitions. If you've enjoyed this, please click the like button. And if you want to stay up to date with these, remember there's another part to this one coming out. Do click subscribe. And if you know anybody who would be interested in these videos, it'd be really nice if you could share them. So I will see you very soon. And do stay well. Don't break any mirrors. And don't cross on the stairs. Remember, salt over the shoulder is a defense. Bye-bye for now.